we will switch gears here to another real sport and go to our Mariners who, I was talking to our guy Big O just a few hours ago. And he goes, we were talking about something that, people will see later. But he goes, Chuck, can you hear that? Can you hear that in my voice? It means baseball is coming. And I'm like, he's got a damn great point. Baseball is coming. Even set up the notes. We've got some a piece of team news here, some league stuff. And then I was like, okay, that's it for the Oh, wait, they have games this week. They have games. So all this chaotic energy that comes with this baseball team is going to come back. I've heard that word a lot the last few weeks, and I'm like, hey, that word stays with one team, and it's well deserved. So we'll get into it. On the 15th of the month, we found out that Taylor Trammell suffered a broken hamate bone in his right hand during a workout prior to him reporting to spring training. I believe Scott Service said that actually took place 48 hours before he was supposed to report to the team. The expected recovery time for that is supposed to be 6 to 8 weeks. So tough. I believe Scott actually in his video, it's somewhere in here is the hamate bone. And it's interesting, and you can see the banner here. It's nice to see, Bel. You've got the spring training logo to the side of you there, which is beautiful to see that, to get games going again. But this has been my buddy Paul, even my buddy Stitch God, asked me something. He was like, so with Trammell out, who's playing in left? And I go, well, that's an interesting discussion. I think first and foremost, Jared Kelenic is in that discussion automatically. I don't need to debate his name. I shouldn't have to, because right, you look at it, there were what corner is Teoscar going to play? He's going to play right field. I have to imagine that's what he's playing before. We don't have to discuss who's in center. But it was interesting when, Bel, we were at the pre-spring training media event. DePoto and Hollander talked about having a platoon and left field. And they said that Kelenic and Trammell would be a part of it. And I was really surprised by the Trammell comment, because I really thought that Sam Haggerty played great in left field. Great athleticism. A lot of people, someone I talked to actually said they want to see him in the infield. I don't think that makes any sense, considering that 3 of your infield positions are basically locked up with Gino, JP, and Ty, and Colton Wong was brought in to be the second baseman, right? I know that they'll get both, they'll get all of those guys, all of those infielders, rest days and such, and rotate them out. Dylan Moore is going to play a good amount, I'm sure, at second base. Evan White being healthy could be great for the backup first baseman spot. I saw some comment that said he should take first base and have Ty DH. I'm like, Ty has been playing at a Gold Glove level the last 2 years, and he's just a much more all-around hitter. So I'd take more of a proven commodity, right? I mean, if Evan White comes out and plays like the Jesus, then that's a different discussion. But so I don't know. I was just like, why is Sam Haggerty not being thrown into the left field discussion more? I would. Yeah. So do you see why I'm interested in that? And I know that AJ Pollock, with him being signed to that free agent deal, there are a lot of talk about him being DH and kind of being in that platoon as well. But I know he hits against lefties really well, so we'll probably see him in a lot of hefty, a lot of lefty lineups. But DePoto talked about Cade Marlowe. Marlowe was called up towards the end of the year, and actually for the playoff run, didn't get any game action, I don't believe, in there as well. But I don't know. Personally, I think it's between Kelenic and Haggerty, and it should stay that way. Throw Pollock in there, sure, but I would like to see both of those 2 guys that I have mentioned get the most playing time in general. Yeah. I don't know. I just want to open that up to you as well.
I think I completely agree with you. I think Haggerty really impressed towards the end of the season last season, and it was really a blow when he suffered, what was it, the groin injury?
Yeah. So I think Matt actually has photos of him walking back to the dugout being carried away. Wow. Yeah, great call.
Yeah, yeah. So up until then, he was fantastic. He was exciting to watch, making great catches. I don't see why you wouldn't throw his name out there.
Yeah, and I've given guys hard times before, right? Like in 2021, um, and even heading into the off season, I really wasn't a fan of like having Dylan Moore take a starting spot at second base. I was like, he's fine, but I would again, if you want to compete for the division with Houston, and you saw Bell the way that the wild card race went this year. Boston hung around for a bit. Obviously, we played Toronto. Baltimore was able to kind of hang around for the longest time. You can't settle for fine, right? You
Mm-mm.
you you have to look for that. And granted, Dylan Moore has been stellar. His underlying numbers are solid, but I want a starter caliber at second base. If he can grow into that, great, sure. He just signed a 3-year deal, I believe. I believe it was 3 years. Later in the day after the pre-spring training event. Haggerty as well. I was like, I remember seeing him play in 2021. I'm like, great, another guy that's he's a great utility guy. He's very versatile, like the Mariners like. He can't hit the baseball, and he's just kind of okay. When you can show me something, fine. And like Moore has with certain moments, Haggerty did that a lot down the stretch last year. I believe it was our guy Proof got some photos. I believe it was Proof. It might have been Q, who got him diving into the corner for a great catch on a Sunday. So yeah, I just think it's between Kelenic and Haggerty. And the Trammell thing, it sucks. Obviously, you'd like to get everybody here to compete through spring training and have it settle itself out in the natural order of things, and I had to be like, oh well, this guy's injured, so he'll come and contribute at a later point. So you like to have guys healthy,
Something.
bottom line. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a tough thing, but anyway, yeah, that's our piece about it. And it'll, again, with spring training ramping up and we've got games coming up, eventually they'll sort itself out. Really, games are the ultimate indicator at the end of the day. So the only piece of league knows that we have here is that on the 13th, the MLB's joint competition committee has voted unanimously to make the extra inning rule permanent for all regular season games moving forward, 2023 and beyond. So that was mixed reviews. I don't know how you feel about it, Bell. Going into extra innings, they placed the runner on second base at the start of every extra inning. I'm good with it because I think we talked about it last week. Actually, I think I talked about it in the show last week. But we'll get your take on it. I'll just say mine really quickly. Is that you want people to, like, you weren't always the biggest proponent of the sport of baseball, right? And so you want more people to be interested in this sport. You want more action. You want it to not take as long as it has. Putting a guy on
Yes.
second to make people come around to get the chance of a run scored much easier. I just think it's a no-brainer, personally. I get how the problem is there's so many people that follow the sport of baseball. They're like, oh, the old ways, we should not get away from the old ways, and it's like, that. Why do we still follow that? You want to
So,
adapt and grow.
yeah, with you saying that in the old ways and me just coming in and kind of still learning things, what was that? Was there not a runner on second
Nope.
usually?
Just
Okay,
just like we were playing another, like the game just kept
just
going.
regular inning. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why we saw what we did in the 18 inning games. It was interesting though, because, and this isn't a thing to take it against the ruling, but in the 13 inning game against the Yankees, right? Uh that rule was in play, and the Yankees bungled the opportunity with the runner on second again and again and again. Obviously, we did as well, but that was I'll remember that game for a long time. But yeah, I just think, if you want to make this game interesting, you want to continue to make it interesting, and you want to speed it up, it just makes a lot of sense. It's just going to have to be done. You're just going to have to deal with, like, the shift. There's some people who are
Mhm.
like, oh, why are we banning the shift? And I see a lot of players like Colton Wong, him talking about how it'll help him defensively. when the shift was like made to help defenses, it's very interesting to me. So we'll see how it plays
Yeah.
out. Again, though, you want this game to grow ultimately. So I think that's what should be at the forefront of all these discussions. So
Yeah. I
we
think it's
have
also interesting. Sorry, it's also interesting just to see who your team chooses to put on second base. So
no, well, uh, the what was it? It's always the last batter that just got
oh,
out.
okay.
Yeah, so it was
I
like,
didn't catch that.
yeah, sorry about that. So it was like if Carlos Santana just struck out the last inning, you've got Carlos on base. And it's like, oh, great. What do we? I mean, I'm sure that you can have a pinch runner in, but
Yeah,
in some of those games, like the 16-inning game, it's like, okay, what do we do?
I
We
guess you
we
can't really say
exhausted
that
our
there's like
options.
you can't really say there's like an advantage thing to it then. So yeah,
It's
I don't
kind of
mind
like
it.
it's got its cons too. So we have games to look forward to. You remember that day, that October day we were there and felt like our brains were melting for how long we were at that game and
Oh my god!
all of the
But it
energy
still
for it.
only feels like yesterday.
Yeah, so it'll be crazy when we finally get to put this up on the board. We've got the Mariners' upcoming games finally. So the first game of spring training for our Mariners is on the 24th. Technically at the Padres, but obviously with spring training, all of these teams are in pretty close, all driving range. 10 12:10 p.m. I apologize. I'll actually pull up the because everyone's like, where can I watch this? How do I listen to it? Root Sports will be carrying a good amount of these games, but not all of them. Some of them you'll have
Hmm.
to listen to on the radio. So okay, that game against the Padres is a 7:10 ESPN Seattle. I'm not going to call them the Seattle Sports name because it's not true. 7:10 radio for the Padres game. So that game won't actually be streamed. The game on the 25th, which is another Am I still there? There I am. Okay, sorry, I'm lagging. The 12:10 game against the Angels is on Root. Okay, so that'll be on Root Sports. And then the game on the 26th at the Royals, which is a 12:05 start, will be on the radio as well. So seems like we're radioing it these next few games, but actually, I won't say too much, but with these games that Root will not be carrying, we'll have some highlights for you to watch video wise. So keep an eye out for that. I won't say too much. You'll have to wait till next week
What?
or for the weekend. So we'll go through that.